Splinter Cell is one of Ubisoft's most beloved franchises and constantly keeps people's hopes high for a new announcement every E3 that comes around, but disappoints every single year. As the match draws closer to that new Splinter Cell teaser trailer, I thought it'd be best to pay homage to the previous games in the franchise with one of my special ranking lists. I thoroughly enjoy making these videos, and if you enjoy them too, then don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more awesome gaming content like this one, and share this video with your friends so that more people can join in on the conversation. This is all 8 Splinter Cell games ranked, not including Splinter Cell 3D, as it's just the 3DS version of Chaos Theory. Coming in at last place is the PSP installment Splinter Cell Essentials, which was developed by Ubisoft Montreal and released in 2006 to coincide with the home console's Splinter Cell Double Agent. Sam Fisher's daughter Sarah has been killed in a car accident. Whilst at her funeral, Sam is arrested and interrogated by police about events that will play out in Double Agent. Through the interrogation, Sam will recall to flashbacks, and this is where the game's levels will take place. Some are refurbished levels from past games, and some are brand new. However, all are dark, dull, and uninteresting. Yes, even the ones taken from previous games, as they've all been watered down until the fun itself has eroded away, with sometimes even complete objectives completely taken out. Essentials was a complete and utter chore to play through from beginning to end. The plot here is strangely unimportant, the levels are forgettable, and the controls are frustrating. This is a game focused on stealth, and yet due to the PSP's nub analog stick, you've got only 2 choices of movement speed. You're going either too slow or you're going too fast. Couple that with the fact that you have to be in camera mode to move the camera and switch back to game mode to pull out your weapons or even jump and crouch is an utter pain during later and more harder levels. This game as a whole is about as unessential as you can get. Essentially, this is the one Splinter Cell game to stay away from. In at 7th spot is Splinter Cell Conviction. Now it's worth to note that there is a massive step up in quality from Essentials to Conviction. Conviction was developed again by Ubisoft Montreal and released in 2010, and I have to say that this is an incredibly enjoyable third-person shooter. The best new mechanic Conviction brought to the table was Mark and Execute. With this, you can spot targets in your line of sight and execute multiple enemies at once, and makes taking down multiple targets at a time a ton of fun. However, with Sam Fisher's skill set and gadgets, your weapons have always felt like a last resort solution, and it's always been better and felt better to avoid gunfire altogether and work around your enemies, outmaneuvering and flanking. However, Conviction says goodbye to that in favour of a more typical modernised third-person shooter that felt like a weaker Gears of War, just with stealth. Conviction is far from poor, but doesn't come close to the charm or even creativity from the other games in the franchise. Conviction was heavily simplified, as it's lighter in stealth, choices and options, and the story here is one of the most lackluster, featuring your cliche evil bad dude who wants to kill the president, and oh yeah, Sarah Fisher is now alive again. In at 6th place is Splinter Cell Double Agent version 1 for the Xbox 360, PlayStation 3 and PC, although I personally played it on the Xbox 360. In Double Agent, Sam has been told his daughter Sarah Fisher has been murdered in a car accident, and this has drove him into a dark depression. So, Sam decides to take up another job. He gets sent to prison to go undercover and take down a terrorist organisation known as JBA. Due to working both sides as a double agent, you will often come across choices in missions that will affect your trust between both sides. Double agent also has an interesting level structure, as in between each mission you'll return back to the JBA HQ and have to sneak around the base for intel, completing objectives, but can't be spotted or take out guards, otherwise they'll get suspicious. This is a glorious pace changer in comparison to the main global missions. But what sticks Double Agent at number 6 for me is its complete lack of atmosphere or depth after coming from Chaos Theory. A lot of Double Agent is set during the day, which completely spoils the whole night vision goggles and Splinter Cell persona. Your HUD is completely gone, not showing your essential information like how camouflaged you are in the shadows or how much noise you're making. Yes, you have a little light on your shoulder, but this never feels as accurate. Double Agent was a good jump onto the 7th generation consoles, but really doesn't feel as memorable as I would have liked, and I fear that I won't probably ever come back to it again. At 5th place, just one spot higher, we have Double Agent version 2, which, for those of you who are unaware, is the version on the PS2, Xbox, GameCube and Wii, and was a completely different game to version 1, but had a similar premise. The first change you'll notice is the retainment of a heads-up display and essential information on screen. Version 2 also comes with a better step up for the narrative, as Lambert pulls you out of a mission that you're deep into when you're told Sarah Fisher has been killed. It has a good setup and build up for this big reveal. But while version 2 stays stronger to the original game's design, the new parts that Double Agent version 1 introduced have weakened because of this. Those awesome undercover missions in the JBA HQ are now just typical missions where you have all your equipment and can take out guards as you please, which kills that tension and originality. The trust meter from version 1 is now a single bar, which means that doing an objective for one side, no matter what it is, automatically means a loss in trust for the opposing side. Double Agent version 2 may have dropped the ball on some ideas though, but all in all, I thought was a much more enjoyable experience compared to its 7th generation brother. Coming in at 4th place is Splinter Cell Blacklist, the latest game in the franchise. And if this is the last outing for Sam Fisher, then I can tell you it is a damn good one. Blacklist continues from Conviction and borrows many mechanics from that game, including the mark and execute feature. But Blacklist is also a return to form, having closer stealth gameplay to Chaos Theory. What this ultimately comes to is a gameplay system that can either be played fast-paced and lethally, or slow and methodically, catering to both types of players. This makes Blacklist an easy game to recommend for new players. However, Blacklist stays at 4th spot because there are still gripes I have with the game. While you have the former two ways of executing levels as I mentioned, Blacklist does also feature a third called Assault, which rewards you for going loud and basically shooting the place up. While yes, this is a choice, there are moments in the campaign when this is necessary and sprung upon you. Basic third-person shooting in this game just doesn't feel all that great, as, you know, it's a stealth game after all. Blacklist also features the need to revolve around a progression system, in which all of your gadgets, weapons and attachments are locked until you get enough money, which you get from completing tasks in each mission, to purchase them. So while Sam Fisher is at the top of his game and near the end of his career, literally seconds away from retiring and packing his bags to his retirement crib abroad, but yet he still starts out with base level gear. It's honestly quite stupid that some equipment is locked behind specific missions, so to unlock the extra stealthy ghost gear that you have to use to complete tough side missions, you need to first complete those tough side missions to unlock that gear. Blacklist was a solid finale for the franchise, but focused too much on introducing new players rather than nailing down what it was that made the series so strong to begin with. Kicking off the top 3 is the original Splinter Cell from 2002. In Splinter Cell, you'll play as Sam Fisher, a NSA Black Ops agent, as you take down corrupt Georgian billionaire Nikoladzei. Splinter Cell was a revolutionary game in its day, as unlike fellow stealth game Metal Gear Solid, Splinter Cell had its camera position behind Sam's shoulder, and had more options when it came to traversal than in Metal Gear. The lighting also was perfect. Being able to blast out the lights for cover is a mechanic that will never age. Splinter Cell, however, can be fairly tough on the player, as hiding bodies in the shadows is a must, and having just one body unhidden, even if there are no guards left to find it, it will still set off an alarm next time you hit a checkpoint. Hit 3 alarms and it's game over. Splinter Cell was a terrific first outing for Sam Fisher, having rich animations, fantastic stealth mechanics, and intuitive controls. Splinter Cell is a must for any stealth fan. At second place, we have Splinter Cell Pandora Tomorrow, which released in 2004, just 2 years after the original. In Pandora Tomorrow, Sam Fisher will have to stop the anti-separatist Indonesian militia, the Dara Dandoa, and its leader, Sohadi Sadano, from unleashing a smallpox virus via a bomb. Pandora Tomorrow plays mostly like its predecessor, but with a few new features such as a laser sight attachment for more refined aim, a new whistle mechanic to attract guards, opening doors when carrying a body, shooting your gun whilst hanging upside down, a new device called the OCP which temporarily disables electronics, and much more. The levels in Pandora Tomorrow were also more varied in locales, having more lush jungle settings complete with a new camouflage outfit for Sam. The most standout moment for me was an awesome level on a train and as you scale around it whilst at top speed. Pandora Tomorrow isn't perfect, however, with it feeling like the stealth and enemy AI was a lot weaker than in the first game, and the scripted one way to go level design had more trial and error to them than I would have liked. But nonetheless, Pandora Tomorrow was a good sequel, and the improvements it made would stick with the franchise. But in at number 1 is Splinter Cell Chaos Theory from 2005. This game was a fantastic bookend to the Splinter Cell original trilogy. Sam Fisher goes all around the globe, to Peru, Korea, Tokyo and more. Chaos Theory introduced an aural monitor which measures how much noise Sam is making in comparison to his surroundings. Also, alarms no longer are automatically being triggered if you leave a knocked out enemy out of the shadows when you've hit a checkpoint, but instead only an enemy guard can find bodies. A new addition to Sam's arsenal was the combat knife, used to cut holes in fabrics to open new routes, or used in new threatening techniques whilst interrogating. Weapons have new attachments you can select from different loadouts before each mission, and the levels themselves are crafted down to minute detail, giving you multiple ways to scale levels. Pandora Tomorrow may definitely have refined the gameplay and formula of the Splinter Cell franchise, but it's truly Chaos Theory which revitalises it. Chaos Theory isn't just the best Splinter Cell ever, but it's one of the best stealth games ever made. And so that's been my ranking of the 8 Splinter Cell games. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of this video, and let me know what your favourite Splinter Cell games are. Thank you all so much for watching this video. You are the best, and I'll see you all in the next video. Take care.